But critics argue that the president essentially has helped ISIS by omission, that by not acting in Syria, that ISIS was strong enough then to cross the border into Iraq, and this is the result.
Well, it's the opposite. The hawks were saying, arm Syria, arm Syria. The president knew that ISIS was in Syria and didn't want them to get control of the weapons. So that's just completely false. And I will say, the big surprise I think the president would admit to, and I think is a fact, is the Iraqi army that we spent $23 billion training just melted away in the face of just hundreds of ISIS. So we have a national security interest here. I agree with Senator Rubio, and I agree with, absolutely, and the President of the United States. No combat counterterrorism mission is critical to us. And therefore, as long as those advisors are not in harm's way, and they are not in harm's way, they can assess the situation and we can conduct counterterrorism. That's the key. Look, Nora, the Iraqi people had a chance of a lifetime. I didn't vote to send those for that war. It's one of my proudest moments. Only 23 of us in the United States Senate, because it was based on false pretense. And we unleashed a horror that we're seeing today. But the bottom line is we do have a counterterrorism mission, and I support that mission.
And Vice President Cheney said this week, rarely has a U.S. president been so wrong about so much at the expense of so many.
That is sick when you really look back at the record. It was Vice President Cheney and Condi Rice working for George W. Bush and Rumsfeld and all those folks. It's just like, you know, a nightmare come back to haunt me, just frankly, who were basically telling us, get right back in there again. The American people don't want it. The president doesn't want us. And the saner voices in the Senate and House don't want it. We do have a national security interest in preventing another 9/11. The Iraqis had their chance. They blew it. And I think right now they've got to figure out if they can form an inclusive government.